Problem 3. The table below shows some equations that represent proportional relationships, where x represents the independent variable. We haven't talked a lot about dependent and independent variables. In our equation, we know the equation for a proportional relationship is y equals kx. Like it tells you here, x is independent. The x, you can put any number in, but the y is the dependent variable because the y depends on the x in the constant of proportionality. So the x is the boss and the y depends on it. Write the correct numbers in the blanks to make each statement true, each sentence true. Y equals 35x. Rita spends $245 on manicures every blank weeks, spending an equal amount per week. So I look and I see y equals 35x. So I know that since 35 is my constant of proportionality, she spends $35 on one manicure. So or on 1 week, sorry, $35 in 1 week for manicures. So our weeks will be our x, which means our cost, our money, total money is going to be the y. So if I use my equation, y equals 35x, I know the 245 is the y, so I replace the y with 245 equals 35 times x, because we're trying to find the number of weeks. Now I look at this and I see it's a one-step equation that I can solve. So to cancel out the 35, I will divide both sides by 35. 35 divided by 35 is 1x. So I'll get x equals 245 divided by 35. I'll go back to my calculator. 245 divided by 35, and I get 7. So Rita spends $245 on manicures every 7 weeks. Next, we're looking at Melinda. Y equals 72x. Melinda can transcribe blank words into Braille every 3 hours. So I know that time is usually my x. So hours is going to be my x, which means words will be my y. So I have my equation y equals, they tell me 72. So that tells me that she can transcribe 72 words every 1 hour, because that's the constant of proportionality is also the unit rate. So y equals 72x, and I can replace my x with 3 to solve this question. So y equals 72. Remember that there's multiplication in between the 72 and the x. So that does not mean 723. That means y equals 72 times 3. And now I'm not canceling anything out. Like on the previous question, we had a coefficient. We were canceling out the 35 by dividing by 35. But in this question, our y is already alone, and we just have to simplify this side of 72 times 3. So y equals, I'll go back to my calculator and work out 72. Oh, I'd hope if I cleared it. 72 times 3. So we didn't do the opposite because we weren't canceling anything out by our variable. And 72 times 3, we will get 216. So that means Melinda can transcribe 216 words into Braille every 3 hours. And our last part of question 3, y equals 18x. A gym membership is costing Albert how many dollars every 6 months? So time, once again, is usually the x. So 6 months is our x, which means that the money for the membership is going to be the y. So in my equation, y equals 18x, y equals, once again, I'll replace the x this time, 18 times 6. So once again, I just need to simplify 18 times 6. So I go back to my calculator, 18 times 6, I get 108. So Albert spends $108 every 6 months for his gym membership.